Hi yogis, my name is Sandra and today's pose is Bakasana or crow pose, which is an entry-level arm balance that you might find in some vinyasa or hatha yoga classes. Now this arm balance has a few different ways of getting into it, and one of them that is a little bit easier than the traditional one is to take your arms nice and wide so that you're really low to the ground, and that's going to make you feel a little bit safer if you haven't done a lot of arm balances before. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So starting out with your hands at shoulder distance apart, fingers nice and spread. If I start to bring my elbows nice and wide, I'll open up my knees and find a connection here between the knee and right on top of the elbow. Once I've got a connection there, I can begin to shift my weight forward, look forward, and then maybe begin to pick up one or both of my feet off of the ground. And so you can see that I'm resting my weight here on top of my elbows and letting everything just kind of hang there. It's a little heavy, but I can hold myself up without too much difficulty. Other than that, the next step would be to bring the elbows in and to begin putting the knees not on the elbows, but as high as you can up into the armpit. So that's going to look a little bit different. I'll do it from the side here. So I like to start by coming high onto my toes. Hands are still at shoulder distance apart. And then begin to place your knees as high as you can into the armpits while wrapping the arms in and then tipping the weight forward, lifting one or both of the feet off of the ground. As I'm doing this, instead of just resting my weight here, I'm trying to lift up through my core, squeeze my heels in towards my glute, and spread the shoulders across the back as I look forward. And I can even begin to straighten my arms a little bit there to use more core activation rather than just resting my whole weight down on top. So those are some of the ways that you can begin playing around with this arm balance if you're new to it. But one of the things I really like to do for people who are working on crow and some of the transitions is to use the yoga strap. So if you tighten your strap so that it's about elbow distance apart, and you'll notice right away that this really helps to wrap everything in. So if you're using a strap like this, what you'll begin to find is that this takes all of the pressure off of having to wrap your elbows in because it does it for you, and instead you can focus on the core activation, puffing up through the back so that you're really getting that lifting action rather than just resting your weight on your arms. You'll feel a difference right away. It's so much easier for me to begin to find some flight here in my crow. All right, I can even begin to straighten my arms. All right, so that might help to give you a little bit more confidence to do things like jumping back into chaturanga, or even going from handstand down into, and actually I'm going to use my infinity strap for this one. So if you're working on a transition like handstand down to your crow, then you might begin to play around with your strap around the arms, same place, right over top of the elbows. And then I'll go into handstand here and see how it feels for coming down into crow. All right. And then jumping back, making my way into a downward dog. So the strap does help to allow everything to keep squeezing in without me having to do the work there. So it's a really great place for you to begin to explore some of those transitions. And you might even, the one I'm working on right now is crow to handstand. I haven't been very successful with this one too often, so I'll see how it is today. I'll just try this other strap. It's a little bit more forgiving. And see how it goes up to handstand, which is one of my goals. And back down. I missed it there, but you get the idea. So I hope that some of those tips were helpful as you begin your journey to crow pose Bakasana. Namaste.